Healing is not about being strong, it's about being whole. What did you allow that gave them the power to treat you that way? You have to also think about it. You won't heal overnight. I'm just saying this to free you. I want you to be free. Like sometimes we feel like we have these saints, but when you decide to work on ourselves, it's like you're discovering things about ourselves. You're like, what? This is not me. Hi, I'm Elin Kofi, and welcome back to the Main Sumo podcast, a safe space for women who want to heal, grow, and become a better version of themselves. I'm glad that you are here, and I hope that you had an amazing week. As for me, I did have an amazing week. Listen, this week we are talking about the healing process and the importance of honesty. I feel like when you go to on social media or maybe when you listen to other people, whatever that you hear about the healing process is just about what we should do and what we should not do. But we don't really talk about the importance of honesty while going through that healing process. Most of the time, when we enter into that process, you discover some things that maybe you may not know about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are some things that are apparent. There are some things that you can see. Maybe you know that maybe you are an angry man, or maybe you are dealing with depression. Those are the things that you know. But I'm talking about things that are hidden underneath the surface, the things that maybe you may not know about yourself, the things that were encoded on the inside of you and that you will discover along the way. And for those things, you need to be really, really honest with yourself. Otherwise, tell yourself that maybe this is not me because sometimes it can be a shock to discover that, oh, I was that person. Sometimes we feel like we had the saints, but when you decide to work on ourselves, it's like you're discovering things about ourselves. You're like, what? This is not me. I wanted us to have that conversation about how we can actually be honest about ourselves and our journey, right? Because when we face struggles, when we experience trauma, those things can literally change our heart and change the way we interact with people. And sometimes those situations change our character. And by the time you know that you have changed, you see that you have become someone else. That's why I'm talking about honesty, because honesty requires some strength. If you want to be really honest about yourself, it means that you have to be really strong because there will be some things that you won't like about yourself. There will be some things that you discover about yourself that you tell yourself, no, this is not me. And that's why you gotta be strong. One thing that I think is the first step for honesty in the healing process is taking responsibility. You have to take your responsibility because sometimes people enter into the healing process telling themselves that this is not their fault, that everything that happened to them is someone else's fault. And I want to change that narrative into your mind because if you don't start now to take your responsibility, you will have the same pattern. Nothing happens by chance. If someone did something bad to you, okay, we can say that a person is not a good person. But what did you do that gave them the power to treat you that way? What did you allow that gave them the power to treat you that way? You have to also think about this. If we want to be really honest with ourselves, that I did something, I allowed something that gave that person the power to treat me that way. And this is a first step for you. If you really want to be honest with yourself, I feel like this is also a step that empowers you and that gives you that strength. You tell yourself that, okay, because I did this, I gave that person the power to treat me that way. So I will change my way of being. I will change the way I think. I'll change the way I behave so that that person does not treat me next time, or that person or another person does not treat me like that another time. In the healing process, you should not expect your wounds to be healed overnight. This is something that I think we really need to tell ourselves, right? Because the thing is, you have spent so much time in a difficult time or a hard time that when you decide to heal, you want your wound to be healed overnight. You want everything to change overnight. But I really want to encourage you with that word. And I really want you to, enter into that space of honesty and tell yourself the truth. You won't heal overnight. I'm just saying this to free you. I want you to be free, right? I'm not saying you to condemn you. I just want you to know the truth. And this is honesty that you won't heal it overnight. It will take time. So you got to be honest with yourself that you don't have to do, no matter what action that you will take, you won't heal overnight. So this is also a phase of honesty because there are some people who, live in this, illusion of I will do everything so that by tomorrow or maybe in 5 months or maybe in 1 year I'll be healed. No. Healing is something that you cannot control. Yes, you can control a certain way, but the process and the transformation, it will depend on so many things if you are able to stay consistent. The only thing that maybe the healing process will require from you is maybe your consistency and you really makes you, keep moving forward despite all the things that you may encounter on the roads. And you should not tell yourself or give yourself goals that you know that you won't be able to fulfill, right? When it comes to inner healing and emotional healing and all of those things, you have to be very careful. Yes, you can be intentional, but you should not give yourself goals that you know that you won't be able to fulfill. You got to be honest and tell yourself, I'm entering into that process. I want to heal fast. This is my will. This is what I want. But I'm also honest with myself and I'm telling myself the truth that I want to heal. I won't heal in 1 year. I won't heal in 5 months. But I'm giving myself enough time to heal. You understand my point? I'm giving myself enough time to heal so that no matter what time I need to heal, I'll just be happy about it. When I think about myself and when I started this healing journey, by the way, I have to tell you that it took me 3 years to heal. So I'm just saying this like that. Like it took me 3 years to heal. So for you, you have to give yourself time. So let's get back to my story. So I was saying that when it comes to me and when I entered into that process of healing, I I wanted to be strong because people would always tell me that I was strong. So in my mind, I am strong. I'm strong. I don't have to feel little. I'm a strong woman, right? And I feel like that narrative that I was telling myself that I'm strong, I'm strong, I'm strong, it actually hindered me from experiencing or letting myself feel the way I was feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're in the process of healing, when you are on your healing journey, there'll be some days where you feel some things because you are trying to understand some patterns. You are trying to understand some things that happen to your life. There'll be some days where some people will do things to you that will trigger you, or people will say some things to you that will trigger some things on the inside of you. And when those days came, I didn't want to fail because I wanted to be strong. And this is something that maybe I want to encourage someone maybe who's experiencing the same thing that I experienced, that you don't have to look strong. We don't even have to be strong in the healing process. You just have to be you. You just have to be you because if you want to be strong, why are you supposed to heal? When are you giving yourself time to heal? You are in your healing journey. So this is the space for you to heal. You don't have to be strong. Maybe you are like me that you feel like you always have to be strong. Even in your healing journey, this is something that you need to change. You have to give yourself space, time. You have to give yourself space and time, and you have to be compassionate about yourself. You don't have to be strong all the time. Nobody's asking you to be strong. The healing process will require for you to be just willing to go through it and just be you. and just be willing to keep moving forward despite challenges. I remember that as I was trying to heal from my relationship with my mom, because I don't know if you know the story, but I didn't have a good relationship with my mom when I was younger. So, I lacked affection and all of that. So both of us we went through a lot of things. But I didn't know that I developed anger towards her. I didn't know that it was hidden on the inside of me. As I told you, I was busy being strong. And one day, as I was trying to understand what was happening on the inside of me and all of the feelings that I had, someone told me that I developed anger toward her. And I did not have any clue about it. The day I discovered that I had anger toward her, I did not even understand where that anger came from. So the thing is, there are some things that are hidden on the inside of you, but when you start working on yourself, you just come at the surface. That experience led me to understand that healing is not about being strong; it's about being whole. You have to understand that you cannot decide to be healed and also decide to be strong at the same time. The only thing that matters when you enter into the healing process is you being whole. You want to be at peace. You want to be joyful. You want to be at peace with yourself. You want to be free. So I want you to have that in mind that your healing process is not going to be perfect. You should not expect perfection from you or from the world or from your healing process. This is something that you need to understand. This is what honesty is about. It's about telling yourself that, okay, the only thing that matters is that I want to be free from those bondage. I want to be free from that pain. I want to be free from that trauma. I really want to be happy again. I want to smile. I don't want to keep someone into my heart. I have to forgive that person because I want to be free. Not because they are right or they're wrong, but I don't have to be strong about it. I just have to forgive and release them. This is also why there's this relationship between honesty and hating. Because when you decide to be honest with yourself, there is something that you will release easily. When you're honest with yourself, you now understand your priority. You now understand where you give your attention to. You now understand the things that matters to you the most. Honesty gives you so many things when you are in the healing process. One thing that it gives is actually that it helps you to be compassionate about yourself and others so that you can forgive them. Let me tell you my story with my mom. When I started working on myself and I started to be honest with myself and the whole story and what happened, I was angry because she did not give me affection. And now here I am facing low self esteem, comparison, and all those things. But as I kept looking for what was actually the problems, I discovered that the thing is you cannot give what you did not receive. And the reason why she was not able to give me that affection is because maybe she did not receive it. So if I wanted to be honest with myself, I didn't have to be angry at my mom because the thing is, maybe she did not give me the affection that I needed, but there is a reason. Do you understand my point? You cannot pour from an empty cup. So honesty will help you to be compassionate with yourself and others. The day I discovered that maybe it's because she did not receive it that she was not able to give it to me, it's actually released me and it helped me to forgive her because I started to understand that there are so many things, so many reasons about that story that I did not have to put everything on her. I had to be more compassionate. And what helps me to be more compassionate was being honest. I don't know what you are going through. I don't know what you experience, but you have to be honest. If you start looking for the real reason, you see that the people that hurt you, there is something that is hidden behind. Maybe they didn't have anything else to do. Maybe this is their character, or maybe something pushed them to do it. And when you come to that place of honesty, you start telling yourself that, okay, I don't have to keep them in my heart. I just have to forgive them. Being honest with yourself helps you to look for the pattern and deal with them. Because the thing is, as I mentioned earlier, I thought about the fact that if you're not honest with yourself, you will not look for the real reason. You will not know the real pattern. And if you don't know the real pattern, you keep living your life the same way. And I want you to have that in mind that when you decide to enter into that journey, tell yourself that I want to know the truth. I want to know the real reason. I want to know what is hidden. I want to know the rules. I want to go to the rules and know the patterns so that I can change it and be free in my life. If you are in your healing process and you are working on yourself and you really want to be honest about your story and your past and your journey, the first thing I want to tell you is that don't be too hard on yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. No matter what that you discover during that journey, no matter what you discover about yourself or other people during that journey, I just wanted to be compassionate with you and others. I just want to tell yourself that this is not the end, that your story is unfolded, that you can take it, that this is not too hard for you, that you can make it if you were able to come on the other side, if you were able to experience all of the things and now here you are. Maybe you are broken, maybe I don't know what you're experiencing, but no matter what you experience, you still have time to work on yourself. So whatever that you discover during that journey, tell yourself that, okay, I'm going to work on it. I'm willing to be honest with myself. I'm willing to go through that process and I'm willing to make sure that at the end of the day, I am healed and that I forgive and that I release people and that I am free. You understand my point? So we are at the end of this video. Thank you for listening and see you in the next episode. Bye.